I didn't know, no. I just know too much. Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? Possibly. I hope that you're having the time of your life. Think twice. That's my only advice.
Here's a question. Is Munir Zulu crying wolf? Now, that is the all-encompassing question. Hope you guys are well. Hope you're having a great lunch. I know it's lunchtime. I thought I'd jump on here very quickly, throw in my 2 cents worth, seeing that everybody's talking about this. We might as well talk about it. Here's the thing about cases like this. On the one side, you've got this young man, relatively unknown. Munir Zulu is a young parliamentarian. My understanding is that he runs some anti-corruption organization. He's one of the secretaries there. And he's had a few interviews on television here and there. And then what I've known of him is that he's a very ambitious young man. He's made it very clear that he wants to run for president. I remember he was a guest on one of these online television shows, and he was very categorical. He was very, very clear about his intention to run for president. And there's nothing wrong with being ambitious, but there's everything wrong with being ambitious too soon, especially in this setup, in the African context, when you make your position and your intention known too early. There are people even within your circle and the people within the political circles that may not take too kindly to that. So in my view, I think he's overambitious. And again, there's nothing wrong with being ambitious, but I think that in the political sphere, if you are green behind the ears, that is to say, if you are an amateur, you tend to make statements like that. If you're an amateur politician, you tend to go on television and say, I want to be president, I'm going to be president, one day I'm going to be president. I think that there's a road to the presidency in the Zambian context. And I think that if you don't know how to navigate your way through that road, you tend to make mistakes. Okay, I think there's a track record that you have to prove after a while. Unfortunately, in Zambia, there's this idea, and I'm not sure where it came from. I'll just go ahead and throw this out there. Please forgive me. I have to oil my elbows because, sometimes I've got ashy elbows, and it's very annoying for the viewers to watch, especially when I have to self-groom. But back to what I was saying, I think that in Zambia, we've got this idea, and it's an erroneous, misleading, self-deceiving idea that everybody that goes to prison, that one of the prerequisites of being president is that you have to at one time have gone to prison. That is the most ridiculous, the most misleading, the most foolish, the most asinine, idiotic statement I've ever heard. It's not about that. It's not about having to go to prison. When I was watching Munir earlier today, and he had this smirk on his face like the lights are finally shining on me. Well, it's not about that. And understand also the political leadership landscape in Zambia is transforming. It's evolving every day, and you and I have to evolve with it. So get it out of your mind that in order for you to be president one day, you have had to have had a track record of being arrested. Not where we're going. The future is not about that. The future is about the ability to lead, the caliber to lead, and the capacity to lead. You have to know those things. If you ignore that, then you are living in an antiquated era. You must know that. So here it is. Let me bring you up to speed for those of you that are not aware. Munir Zulu, young Zambian guy, he alleged a few days ago. He said that there are two ministers, there are two people within the government that he is convinced, and he has the evidence to this effect, that these government officials have received some type of bribe. And he mentioned names and he mentioned numbers. Okay. The number was about $250,000, he alleges. Okay. He alleges that these ministers receive this money as kickbacks or bribes. Now, here's the thing about coming up with stories, especially in the political arena. You must always understand that there are three sides to a story. You must know this. One of my dear professors, who's late now, when I was in college, I had a professor by the name of Dr. Billy Wheeler was his name. And he's passed now, originally from the beautiful state of Oklahoma. He was from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. And I'll never forget him and I were talking one day, and he said, son, there are three sides to a story. He said, there's your side. Okay. Then he looked at me and then he said, there's my side. And then ultimately, there is the truth. Three sides to a story. Your side, my side, and then there's the truth. Now, the question still remains, is Munir Zulu crying wolf? Is he telling a story? Is he fabricating it? Is it real? And if it is real, does he have the evidence to back it? Well, my response to that is this. Well, we'll see what he has. Far be it from me or you to dismiss and say, oh, no, this, that, and the other. We will see. Now, here's the thing about this. Here's the thing about these allegations. It's not what you know. It's what you can prove. I learned this years ago from watching that great African-American actor, Denzel Washington, in that film, Training Day. This is a line from Training Day. It's not what you know. It's what you can prove. Honey, you can know it from here till kingdom come. But as long as you don't have the hardcore evidence, as long as you can't walk into that courtroom and beyond a reasonable doubt, prove that you have the evidence that will ultimately incriminate the people you are accusing, you're in trouble if you don't have those elements. It's not what you know, it's what you can prove. And here's the thing, and I always say this, go wherever the evidence takes you. If it's going to take you to a dark place, go there. If it's going to take you to a place that's completely illuminated, go there. But the point is, whatever evidence you have, false or authentic, it'll take you to where you're going. So here's my admonition to Munir Zulu, is that if in fact, this whole thing was a complete misunderstanding and he was given false information, or the information that is within his possession, in other words, the stuff that he claims to have, if it's tainted, if it's erroneous, if it's misleading, if it's less than, if it's not corroborated, okay, there's a word, corroborated, then Munir's in a bit, as they say over there in Southeast Louisiana, they say you're in a pickle. Are you familiar with that phraseology? You're in a pickle. Okay, listen. You got to dot all the I's. You've got to cross all the T's. When you go up against these guys, when you go up against the mammoth Leviathan, you got to know what you've got in your arsenal. You can't show up to a gunfight with a toothpick. See, that's Southeast Louisiana talk now. For those of you that have been to Southeast Louisiana, you know what I'm talking about. You cannot show up to a gunfight with a toothpick. If you're going to show up, you better come out there with both guns blazing. You better know what you're talking about, okay? Otherwise, why do it? Now, here's the thing that these guys seem to not understand. Munir has created this thing now. He's raised the dust, and then naturally you've got the notorious Patriotic Front members coming out. I mean, they're acting like the cavalry. You know, they're acting like the posse. You know what a posse is? A group of cowboys coming to save the day. If Kamala Harris sees this, then there's no reason to have the summit. And they're saying things like, if Munir Zulu is held any longer than he's supposed to, what's the point of having the summit? Guys, you're being disingenuous. Okay, you're comparing apples with oranges. You're talking about oil when you should be talking about water. Don't mix the two. Stay on topic. That's the thing about politicians. Politicians, boy, I tell you what, politicians are a nuisance. Here it is. For your convenience, because it's convenient for you to start talking about governance, to start talking about fair play, to start talking about tolerance, political tolerance, because it's convenient for you to talk about that. Oh, you talk a big game. You're standing on the highest mountaintop and you're talking about, oh, look at this government. But when you were in government, when you scoundrels were holding the reins of power, when you were riding high on the saddle, what were you guys doing? You guys were the worst kind. You talk about intolerance. You, NPF, the notorious Patriotic Front, you were the personification. You were the quintessential incarnation of intolerance. Intolerance. If you guys were in power and some joker did what Munir Zulu did, he'd be underneath a bus somewhere, half dead, half beaten. And here you have the audacity, you have the unmitigated gall to stand in front of a camera and talk about the virtues of good governance when you yourselves couldn't do anything about that. Here's my admonition. NPF, sit down, go sit in a corner and stop talking. The thing about you NPF guys, you talk too much, okay? You talk too much. You need to shut the hell up is what you need to start doing. And here it is. I was listening to Bakampiongo. Bakampiongo says, oh, I should have done better. When we were in power, I should have dealt with political violence better. Well, it's everything is 2020 in hindsight. Okay, ever heard of that expression? Everything is 2020 in hindsight. Now that you look back, now you realize the folly of your ways. It's like that old song. I can see clearly now that the rain is gone. It's only because you're looking back. It's only because you are no longer in a position of power. That's the reason you can afford to say things like that. Oh, we should have done better. Well, guys, things have changed, okay? It's a different deal. There's a new sheriff in town, okay? He's got his posse, he's got his homeboys, and they're going to do whatever the hell they want, and it's going to take them wherever they want to go. And if you've got issues with that, take them on. We've got the courts of law. But here's the thing, and I have to say this. If Munir, sorry, that was, I misspoke. Honestly, really, I didn't mean to. That's an honest mistake. I didn't mean to call him manure. Munir, if Munir Zulu really has substance and he really has the evidence, take it to him. Go where that road leads you. Go wherever the evidence takes you. But if you don't, somebody going to jail. Somebody going to jail. Oh, it's going to be a sad day when somebody go to jail, boy. Oh, boy. All right. All right, let me throw a couple of your comments on here. Right, this is Donald Cachepa. He says, "You are a tin can," he says. Okay. I'm not sure what he means by that. What do you guys reckon this guy, Donald, what do you think he means when he calls me a tin can? Homeboy jumps on my show. He says to me, "Well, you're a tin can," he says. Bless him. Bless ya. All right, here it is. One more, and we're done. Okay. You, Donald, oh, the same guy. You are now supporting what you condemned. Donald, get a grip. Okay. Listen to what I'm saying. Okay. Just listen. Instead of you having a preconceived notion of what I'm talking about, it would do you a lot of good if you listen, for goodness sake. This is the thing about the NPF. They never listen. I can always tell an NPF member just from the way they talk. And I know this guy, Donald, pure, quintessential NPF. Which, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm just saying, if this is you, this is you. Do you, I'll do me. Okay? All right. All right. Zulu will be back to default settings just after the US president leaves. He's just trying to draw attention while she's around. Here. I agree with this. I do. I agree with this. I think this is true. I do. I know usually they say, if you're a vlogger, don't take sides. But this makes sense to me. It does. I don't know what you guys think, but this makes perfect sense to me. It does. I'm channeling Marua. If you're a TikToker, you know what I'm talking about. If you're not a TikToker, then forget I said it. All right, here it is. One more comment. Okay. Ernest Pierce says nonsense, absolute nonsense. Ernest types in the comment section, he says, "Well, what you're talking about is absolute bull roar." Are you familiar with that phraseology, bull roar? It's a Christian way of saying the other word. We're Christians, so we don't say bull bleep. We say bull roar. Okay? It's like darn. Christians say darn. We don't say damn. Okay? We say shoot instead of so this is bull roar. Okay? All right. All right, one more. One more. All right, here it is. This is Brian Bravo. Okay. Now, when I see names like this, when I see M. Brian Bravo, my immediate question is tribe, chief, district. Bantu, ini I doubt, kwaliba Bravo, kuruapula. Olo, ku Western Province. When I see names like Bravo, therefore, we chief, tribe, district. Well, I go serious. Put your real son, use your real name. Use the name that your mother gave you. Okay? Let's be clear about that. I follow you, but don't agree with you on most issues. Well, we've got a problem. Because if you don't agree with me on most issues, son, what the hell are you doing here? What this should say is, Mr. Muero, I agree on a lot of your issues, but I disagree here. But if you're disagreeing with most of what I say, you're in the wrong page. You and I are not on the same page. You don't believe what I believe. Yes, we live in a cancel culture, but if you're going to hang out here, at least agree with most of what I'm saying. But if you disagree with most of it, honey, you're on the wrong page. You are. So Brian Bravo, who has no district, no chief, no province, says, I don't agree with most of your issues because you are a shapeshifter. Okay, now, a shapeshifter means you gravitate towards the heat, is what he's trying to say, which that doesn't make any sense to me because I'm nothing like what he describes. I'm not sure what he means by that. Brian Bravo, as soon as you give us your real name, maybe you can elaborate on this. When you say Kuti, I gravitate towards the heat. What the hell does that mean? What does that even mean? Okay, here we go. Mr. Muera, steady law. Okay. Mwinga Ngondo says, good question to Brian Bravo. There you go. Well, hey, guys, thank you for watching. So in closing, let me say, my view is that I will not completely write it off because, we live in a very unpredictable world. Anything can happen. Okay. I will not completely write it off, but I will say this. You can't come to a gunfight with a toothpick. Okay. You've just rustled up a hornet's nest. So you better know what you're talking about. When you walk into that courtroom, it's not going to be patty cake, bake a man. It's not going to be tiptoeing through the tulips. Nobody in there is going to be holding hands, singing kumbaya. Nobody's going to roll out the red carpet for you. It doesn't work that way. When you step into that courtroom, game on. You need to know what the hell you're talking about. Otherwise, you're going to do the cha-cha to rumba. Okay? As we say in Zambia, you're going to dance. What's the phraseology? I forget the last part. Anyway. Guys, it's lunchtime. I got to go. I haven't even had lunch yet. Goodness. I'm sitting here talking to you guys. I should be in there having lunch. They're serving, I'm not sure what they're serving. It might be chicken today, do you, guys, are you like me? I think chicken twice a week it's not a good thing. I could eat fish 6 days a week. Tell me I've got a problem. Tell me I need to see somebody. Tell me I've got a condition. Because honestly, really, I could eat fish from here till Saturday and twice on Sunday. Something is wrong with me. I need help. I need to see somebody. Okay. Guys, I got to go. I got to have lunch. Thank you for watching. We'll see where this goes. And let me close by saying this. To quote the great Denzel Washington in the movie Training Day, it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. I'm channeling Maroa.